Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from the outskirts here. It's the Gaming Saloon for December 14th, 2025 with your host, Beast2448 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
It's our second to last show for the year. Might be the last because we probably not have anything to talk about in 2 weeks.
Sure we will.
Probably nothing good.
Yeah, but you just said we'd have nothing to talk about.
Fair. Yeah, as we've kept saying, it's Game Awards time. Hooray! Or, out of curiosity, did you watch the Game Awards?
Nope.
Okay, because I only half paid attention while Devil Spidey threw basically spoilers at me because he was 2 minutes ahead of me.
Is it really spoilers? Did you really care about it?
No. It was just funny that he would say a thing, I would look up, and it would be like, well, I guess I'm waiting on this thing and that thing. And then I technically watched the rest of the folks I was watching it through when I got done streaming. But the show was basically over by then, so. I did find it funny that people did not pick up on the Mega Man reveal until way too late, because I'm like, they are literally doing the Mega Man jingle before that door even unlocks. How do you not know it's Mega Man? I can hear the Mega Man jingle even though it's being done by an orchestra, so it sounds a little different. But we have that and other stuff to talk about. But first, Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Well, one of the big ones was Dread. I still stand by the if you like Prime 1, or not Dread, Beyond. Wrong one.
I was about to say, don't you mean Prime 4?
Yeah, Prime 4. Beyond. Yeah, I still stand by the whole, if you like the first one, then you'll like this one. I can't, I've seen a few where people are like, okay, this kind of wasn't what they were expecting, and I'm sitting here thinking, fair. As long as the gap as we had with it, yeah, this did kind of fall flat to what fan expectation probably was. But considering how it fits to other primes, now this is actually pretty good. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's going to turn into one of those, people are going to bash it because it took so long to not really do anything spectacular, and then realize, well, wait a minute, in the scope of Metroid, no, it's pretty good.
I was about to say, this feels
yes.
Looking back at the Prime series, this feels in line with what they've been trying to do with Prime, to make it not just, here is Metroid, but in 3D and a first-person shooter. Here's stuff that makes it different from a normal Metroid, at least to some extent. And because
it's not so much different as it's harder for them to build a story in a 3D sense, because you're not supposed to be expected to scan literally everything and try to derive the story from that point.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find that line of where do you go with it. And quite frankly, look at what Destiny ran into when Bungie first was doing it. Everything was locked behind a extra app that literally had text documents telling you everything. It's not something easy. I mean, quite frankly, you can even play the Halo games and you're not going to get the whole for that universe, for that area. You kind of have to have the extra too. So it's hard to do. Coupled with, I don't think Samus has ever talked in a game that people at least deem important. Because I'd venture to say Other M I've not touched, but it's as big of a train wreck as that one can be, yeah.
I mean, she talks in Other M, but talks too much. She talks in Dread, but she talks in Chozo once and then screams the other time she speaks, so she doesn't really talk.
Yeah, most of it screams.
Yeah, most of it is screaming at her not dad for being a piece of shit and trying to murder her.
But yeah, I mean, silent protagonist games are kind of hard to pull off too. So I think a lot of people are just sitting there and looking at all the other games that are out there, and they're like, yeah, this sucks in comparison. And it's like, okay, if you're comparing it to other games that are out there, I will give that to you. If you're comparing it to other Metroid games, then you're kind of wrong.
Yeah, I think one of the folks I follow was like, yeah, this is like my second favorite Prime behind the first Prime.
I feel like I can say that too. I honestly feel like I can say that too. I want to, since I know there's a way to do 3 with an actual controller layout, I'd want to give 3 a fair shake before I fully say that though. I'm getting the feeling that will not change my opinion. Because I think pretty much that's everyone's general thoughts on 3 is the weakest of them. Not necessarily the worst, but the weakest.
I do feel like, because again, one of the folks I follow said this, and I kind of agree with it. If you're gonna have Samus talk, she should just be short and to the point. She should just be on mission, short to the point. Like if she wants you to do something, she's just gonna say, "Do this," in a very authoritative tone. Because do you really want to question her?
They kind of already do that. Just without vocals.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, looking at Halo, looking at the fact that while Chief isn't necessarily a silent protagonist, he doesn't really have much to say until you get into the later games.
Yeah.
343 kind of decided that they wanted him to talk.
Anytime he talks, he's again short and to the point.
Yeah. And that would work. That probably would be the one thing that I could say really kind of was needed for Prime 4. Because I know the whole time I was sitting there thinking, okay, is she actually just going to say something? Because this is a dialogue she actually could respond to. Nope. Helmet, slight nod, or just looking at something, and it's like, it's implying that she's telling these people stuff off camera. But we're not seeing that. Unless she fully is mute and her suit is transmitting all this information.
That would feel like an odd choice for her character.
It would, but I mean, that's the only other explanation there could be for something like that. That's why I'm like, I don't get it. This is the one time they could have done that.
Well, I haven't seen the dialogue, but the other characters in terms of their conversations with Samus, I've only really popped at the what I assume is the 100% ending. But how much is the one girl a fangirl for Samus? Just out of curiosity.
It's played hard at the beginning, but then it's kind of toned back really quickly, kind of deal.
Oh, okay. Because
It's not over the top the entire way through. It's one of those. It's there for the scene, and then it tones back. Like you can tell that she's still admiring Samus throughout the entirety of it and trying to please her, but we get more back on focus. It's not a just following around like Amy does Sonic kind of deal.
Okay. Because apparently there was some folks have decided to ship Samus with her, and I go, you know what? I would buy Samus as lesbian. That feels appropriate.
Yeah, I could see that too. I kind of also I know the ending basically does like what a lot of games try to do and basically mean that the characters that you meet throughout the game mean nothing. I kind of hope we don't follow trend with this kind of deal. This is one of the few times where I'm like, honestly, the supporting characters, it would be nice to see them come back at some point.
Don't you want more glup shittos a la Prime 3? That's basically what Prime 3 was, is here's 4 glup shittos. You're going to kill them over the course of this game. Sorry. They're not even glup shittos from Metroid Prime Hunters, which was also the game of here's a bunch of glup shittos.
It's one of those I'm like, I hope this is the start of a trilogy, and I hope that stuff like I've said kind of ends up being what goes through it, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo said no, this was a one and done because of the cluster that the start of the development process was for it.
Yeah, I could see them being like, we're gonna focus on 2D Metroid for a little while because that felt yeah, I can't even say that because Mercury Steam turned out to be a shithole of a studio, so they can't even be like, hey, Mercury Steam, make us another Metroid, because no, they probably don't want to work with them anymore. So they'd have to maybe find someone else to make another 2D Metroid.
I mean, I could be wrong. They might have already greenlit it. They could have done it in the same concept that they did the original trilogy. They could have. We could already be seeing within the next year or two a Prime 5 coming down the line. I'm not expecting it. Not with the way that it started out. It wouldn't surprise me if that happened. Mainly because, you know, Prime 4 was kind of supposed to come out earlier this year. Just saying. Yeah, outside of that, not really much else.
I've done all of the DLC Wave 1 DLC for SRWY. It was a very good little team up of the 3 shows. And funny enough, the only part they directly adapt from the Skull movie is basically the beginning and end of it where Shotro's talking to Tokime about it. That's the only part they really adapt. But we do find out how Narumi is alive. Do you care to guess?
Time travel shenanigans?
Kind of. Kind of. So apparently the main bad guy for this DLC is able to pluck things from other dimensions. So the Narumi in the DLC is kind of a Narumi who's been pulled forward in time. Kind of. He's like slightly out of time, slightly maybe from another dimension, but is a similar timeline. Because he basically got pulled right after Shotaro became his assistant.
Huh.
But we do have like nice interactions with Narumi and Shotaro and Philip and all that. We even get a little like thing between Terry and Narumi for a second, since you know Terry's married to his daughter. He also declines to go see Akiko, even though she's in Futo for the entire DLC. She's basically holding down the fort in Futo, while basically everyone else is hopscotching the world in space. Weirdly, they don't go with the idea that he still has the spider bomb in him, so he can't. He's just like, I don't want to, because I don't want to like basically give her the like the small bit of happiness of me being back and then rip it away from her, basically. They also just don't. He also doesn't want to know what happens in the future with him, even though he clearly knows he dies at some point. He's just like, I don't want to know the details. Don't tell me.
Makes sense.
I will also note, as of the end of the DLC, he is basically stuck in the current timeline, which is why I think he's not technically time travel from the future, because Shotaro and all them know he's dead. You know, everything that happened with Begins Night happened, so like Narumi died.
So yeah, then that not really time travel then. I guess more of a what if scenario then.
Basically. But yeah, as far as the end of the DLC, Narumi is kind of stuck because we kind of blew up the bad guy and he was the one that was kind of making the portals. And the reason Narumi kind of got pulled forward in sideways kind of on accident, like it wasn't intentional for him to end up here, but he kind of ended up here and has basically been trying to figure out what the fuck's going on in the background. But otherwise, it was good stuff. I really don't have much else to say. I still have to finish the game. I want to get it finished before the year ends. I've only got so much left. I am curious. Like, the only downside of me being as deep as I was in, I don't know how much the DLC cast interacts with the rest of the cast in the levels that are the main game. Since I'm in chapter 5 when...
Oh, there went the internet again. Yep.
Oh, god damn it.
There it goes.
What's bad is I can hear you just fine the entire time.
Uh-huh.
Sucks. You can start the DLC as early as chapter 2, and I assume run through the entire DLC as early as chapter 2, so you have everybody going forward. But I don't know how much of the cast was interacting before this, so I'll see how much they interact past this. I'm especially curious what happens when I have a Kamen Rider try to fight Godzilla, because I'm not at the point where I'm fighting Godzilla yet. But I'm really curious. The SRWY continues to be really good, and I'm really enjoying it. Not much else. I think I've done a little bit of retro achievements on the side, but not too much. Yeah, I guess shall we get to the news then?
This was show.
All right then. Before we talk about what was revealed at the Game Awards, Let's find out how much it costs.
Too much.
Yes. So if you are looking to put a 3-minute trailer at the Game Awards, it will cost you over $1 million. This is far more than Opening Night Live, which a 3-minute ad there was $500. Or 150. I guess that's, it has to be more than that. I guess that's $500,000. 150 for a 30-second ad, and then 210 for a 1-minute ad. So yeah, people paid a buttload of money to Jeff Keighley to have their things at the Game Awards. Yay!
Most people do not care.
Yep. I guess any thoughts before we get to the reveals? Fair. All right. We'll just run through the list here as it's presented. This is not the order they were presented at the show because only This Week in Games put them in order like that. So, oh well, we'll just hit it like this. We had a new KOTOR revealed, dubbed Fate of the Old Republic. It is from Casey Hudson's new studio, who is ex-BioWare. Fortunately, he's also was great. Artistically speaking, not personally, maybe.
I mean, possibly that too.
Yeah. Look, he's the person that salvaged Anthem. Make of that what you will. But yeah, not much was shown. It was basically a concept trailer to just go, hey, we're working on a new KOTOR. Come join our company. Jason Schreier, I assume in jest, was like, hey, don't expect us until 2030. And then Casey Hudson on Twitter went, we're getting this out before 2030. I'm not getting any younger. So expect this sometime between, I don't know, 2027 and 2030. Claire Obscura. Oh, we'll skip that because that's just basically who won. You remember that weird statue thing that was in a desert for the Game Awards? Okay. Well, there was a weird statue thing in the desert for the Game Awards. Turns out it was for a new divinity that is just called Divinity. It is a CG cutscene a la, you know, all the CG cutscenes that Blizzard does for all of their stuff? It's one of them, except it's very gory. Not much other details besides new divinity. It doesn't even have a number, which is, it'd be hilarious if they just called it Divinity, because there's actually no other game in the Divinity franchise that's just called Divinity. So they could actually get away with this.
And confuse everyone in the process.
Yes. Capcom finally showed us Leon in Resident Evil Requiem. This was like the worst kept secret about this game ever. It's Leon in a Resident Evil game. He very much looks like his Resident Evil 4 self, where he is just going in there beating up zombies. He steals a chainsaw and cuts up zombies with their own chainsaw, and I go, hell yeah. He's even cracking jokes. I am glad they don't make him just a miserable bastard like they made Chris Redfield when he came back. Otherwise, it's what to expect from Resident Evil Requiem at this point.
Also, give them time.
Yep.
They will find a way.
Tomb Raider had 2 reveals. First up, Tomb Raider Catalyst will be a new Tomb Raider following up from the original Tomb Raiders, not the reboots. This is original Lara, not Uncharted Lara, basically. But that'll be coming out in 2027. But next year, we're getting a remake of Tomb Raider 1 again, dubbed Legacy of Atlantis. This is like the second time we've remade Tomb Raider 1. So, yay! Control Resonant was shown off. It's the follow-up to Control from Remedy. Looks like we're controlling Dylan, who is the main character from Control's sister. I can't remember her name. Jessie. Her brother seems to be the main character for this. Any thoughts?
Yeah.
All right. Soros, don't care. We got Galaxy footage. Are you excited for the Galaxy movie?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It will be better than most things when it comes to video game adaptations, so
I mean, yeah.
I'll take it. Mega Man Dual Override is a new classic Mega Man coming out in 2 years.
Maybe.
They actually show gameplay though, so they're somewhat along in development. I guess one of the Mega Man folks said that this is not the only thing to expect for Mega Man's anniversary soon. And they are also running a Robot Master contest. They've given a skeleton of a Robot Master and told people, make a Robot Master out of this. And also, if we find out you're using AI, we're sending you to hell. So don't do it.
We'll still try anyhow.
Yep, and Capcom will send those people to hell. Good. I guess the only interesting thing is like Mega Man's armor kind of like opens up at the end of this. It kind of looks like he's venting his armor. So I don't know. I don't remember the gear mechanic from Mega Man 11. But did I have like a speed up, slow down mechanic with the 2 gears?
Oh.
Okay. It had some sort of dual gear gimmick, and I do not remember what it is, but the Mega Man venting his armor makes me think he'll have like some sort of like clock up, basically. It's the only thing I can think of for why his armor would be opening up to seemingly vent. Maybe he clocks up
because of what you end up having to.
I know it's the best shorthand I have for that.
I know.
But it's like, that's what the visual impression gives me of the armor vents.
Okay, but
to let off the X.
You could have even said like how Mach does.
Yeah. But yeah, it opens up, it vents because the heat builds up from Mega Man speeding up and going fast. So it's time based, and maybe he does more attack damage and like can move faster to get out of attacks better. I don't know. That feels like a mechanic a Mega Man game should have.
Yeah, I could see that.
But like none of this was shown in the gameplay. Like this was only in like this little like title screen cutscene at the end. The rest of the gameplay is basically classic Mega Man.
It's probably more than anyone thought about.
Yeah. A voice actor might have hinted or might have accidentally leaked that Bass is in this game, or Bass is in this game. Not Bass, Bass. So, yay, Bass fans. All 5 of you, I guess.
Maybe 6.
Yeah. New Lego Batman game trailer with a release date for May 29th. I'm still hesitant about this. Half of because of the Star Wars game I played, half because this feels weird. Because it's like, hey, we're mixing Arkham Combat with this weird mishmash of all of the Batman movies as one continuity, kind of. And maybe also the Arkham games? I don't know. This feels weird and confused.
Probably because of it.
Yeah. Diablo 4 has an expansion. 2 new classes, including a paladin. Yay. We got a trailer for the Street Fighter movie. It looked kind of campy and fun, and I want to give it a chance because either it's going to be kind of funny, good, or it's going to be an absolute train wreck. So it'll be an enjoyable watch either way. I don't know. Any thoughts?
Nah.
Fair. We have a racing game for Star Wars called Galactic Racer. It is not just a pod racing game. There are other vehicles, as you can see in the thumbnail here. They did tease Sebulba, and I assume his pod racer at the end of the trailer.
So it's a pod
so
racing.
It is, but there's more than just the pod racing as vehicles.
Couldn't resist.
That's why I call it. That's why I just say it's a Star Wars racing game. Because if you say Star Wars pod racing game and show this trailer, everyone's going to go, "Where's the pod racers? I see no pod racers. I see a speeder. I see a couple bikes. I see no pod racing." But I'm like, it's just a Star Wars racing game. Don't give people the wrong expectations. This will come out next year. PS5, Xbox Series X, PC. No other details. Except it's from X Criterion devs, so the Burnout folks. So hooray?
Question mark?
Yes. Phantom Blade Zero's got a release date. September 9th. It's a Souls-like game, so I'm skipping. Pragmata is got a release date of April 24th. And it has, I think it has like a sketch demo where you get to sketch on some paper with your little hacker friend. And then it's going to get a demo at a later point. But it's also going to come to Switch 2, PAC, PS5, and Series X and S. But guess what that Switch 2 release means?
Mouse controls?
No.
Oh.
A different thing.
What?
Amiibo. They're making Amiibo of the small child.
Huh.
I don't know why. They just are. So you can get an Amiibo of the small child. I guess you can go along with your Solaris Knight figure for Dark Souls as weird third-party Amiibo that exist for the one game, and that's it. As a reminder, we do have a Dark Souls Amiibo. Gang of Dragon is from one of the former RGG devs. It basically looks like a Yakuza game, just not Yakuza. So, yay. I will not say no to another Yakuza game, even if it's not from RGG. Technically. Warlock Dungeons & Dragons is a Dungeons & Dragons single-player RPG. Did it have any gameplay? No. Moving on. Forest 3 was a thing. Moving on. Highguard was what ended the show. Do you like Overwatch? Would you like a Magic Fantasy Overwatch?
Double meh.
Fair enough, because that's basically what this looks like. It is a PvP shooter. Comes out January 26th, just a few short weeks away. This is a free-to-play PvP shooter. This ended the show, mind you. So, time to closure of this game. Don't have any over-under on this one?
No.
Fair enough. Total War Warhammer 40K is coming from Creative Assembly. I don't know why they didn't just call this Total Warhammer 40K. Take the I know the franchise is called Total War, But the pun is funnier. So just call it Total Warhammer 40K. That just rolls off the tongue better. But it's a 40K game. Invincible has another character. 4 Loop was a thing. I don't remember it. Moving on. I don't remember Ascent. Ace Combat 8 got announced and people were excited for it. Is it bad that the only thing I know for Ace Combat is the dumb things people do in Ace Combat?
No, not at all.
Fair. Apparently the story in these Ace Combat games is nonsense though. In like a good way. I honestly didn't think this was an Ace Combat game until they got into the flight gameplay, because it had a whole bunch of first-person story segments, and it made me think this was like some sort of like COD Battlefield, something or other like that. But no, this is an Ace Combat game. 007 First Light has Lenny Kravitz joining as a villain. Yay. Marvel Rivals is getting Deadpool next season alongside Elsa Bloodstone. But mainly the trailer is just to go, here's Deadpool. Any thoughts on that?
No.
All right. Witness and Break creator Jonathan Blow shows a new puzzle game. I don't even remember what this was. It looks like a block pushing puzzle game. Cool. Skip. Mario Pro Labyrinth creator Davide Solani has a new game out. It's called Bradley the Badger. Would you like a platform with dev tools? And in parody video games? I'll be honest, this looks really good. You've got basically, a rare style like mascot platformer going around in basically parody video games with dev tools to platform and stuff. So you've got Badgerborn as one of the games.
Boy.
Mm-hmm. I'll see if I can. You got, was it Cyber Badger? The Last Badger? This seems fun. This is probably my favorite thing from the show. If I'm being honest. Especially because it is from the guy who gave us Mario plus Rabbids. Which, to be fair, that wasn't the best first look, but you know what? It turned out really good, so maybe this will as well. I'm willing to give it a chance. Stupid Never Dies. I think this is an action game. I think it's an action game. I'm not sure. Oh, from the pre-show, The Free Shepherd. It's a game where you play a herding dog as you herd sheep and stuff through an environment and deal with strange things going on. I don't know. I just like cool dog doing cool things. I'm not sure how else to explain why I like this. Coming up, the chicken foot is old witch lady doing the platform and stuff. Skip. Guild Wars 2 thing. Sauces 2. It's basically it now. Oh, 2XKO has Caitlyn. Hooray! That's basically it. I guess the other couple notes, since trailer's not here, Hoyo put out a Zenless trailer. I guess instead of a 4.0 Honkai Star Rail trailer, since 4.0 has been delayed because of the political things going on between China and Japan. So they put a Zenless trailer for their, this basically to show off the characters for the next couple patches. And the one Harry Potter game is free on Epic. Can I decline that? Can I refund that? Even though I is being given to me for free?
I don't
Can I
think
be
that's
paid
how
to-
that works.
Can I be paid to not redeem that game? Also, Fortnite at some point will have Harry Potter stuff. Cool. An excuse for me to not play Fortnite on stream for a couple weeks. But yeah, any thoughts on anything? Anything stand out to you that we didn't talk about?
Wow.
It was fine. I have seen worse shows. I have seen worse shows this year. It is just that it's the Game Awards, so it takes a penalty for being the Game Awards, basically. All right. Shall we talk about who won what? So, Game of the Year went to Claire Obscura, to no one's surprise. It also won direction, narrative, art direction, scoring music, performance for Jennifer English, indie, debut indie, and role-playing game. And I want to say that is all for it. Yeah, that's everything for Claire Obscure, which is the most winners, I think, at one of these shows. Beyond that, Battlefield 6 got audio design. South of Midnight got games for Impact. Hades 2 got best action. Silksong got action adventure. Strategy went to Final Fantasy Tactics. Fighting game went to Fatal Fury. Family game went to Bonanza. And Doug Bowser showed up to accept the award. In the last 2 months of his job, because he's leaving, as we've talked about. That's gonna be like one of the last public things he does for Nintendo soon. Sports and racing went to Mario Kart World, which everyone was upset about. Multiplayer went to Arc Raiders. Ongoing went to No Man's Sky. Community support went to Baldur's Gate 3. VR AR went to Midnight Walk. Mobile game went to Umasube Pretty Derby. The lady that announced it did not know how to pronounce Uma Musume. I'm pretty sure no one knew how to pronounce Uma Musume on the show, so good job, folks. Accessibility went to Doom. Adaptation went to Last of Us Season 2. Esports went to Counter-Strike. Athlete went to Chelvi. Esports team went to Vitality. Content creator went to Moist Critical, who even when he was watching the stream was like, don't give it to me, don't give it to me, don't give it to me. Fuck. Fine. Anticipated went to GTA 6, and players' voice went to Wuthering Waves. So, any thoughts on the winners? Hey, feel like
Most of it, I'm like, yeah, it was either called or honestly, I think probably the only two surprises that Nintendo walked away.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Mario Kart beat out Sonic.
That
as
one
much as everyone was
mainly,
behind Sonic.
that one mainly, and I'm even still
Yeah.
kind of a little surprised with Banana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bonanza only got basically the Nintendo award, and that was it. I'm also pretty sure, Death Stranding 2 got nothing. So here, folks, there is no Kojima favoritism at the Game Awards. Kojima didn't get anything.
This time.
This time.
He didn't pay enough.
Apparently not. I will say, I am glad, even if it is a gacha game, and I know people were complaining that, because I think mobile, all of the mobile ones are gacha games. At least it was the Uma Musume, because it felt like the best one out of that lot. Because it damn sure wasn't Persona 5. I would have been upset if Persona 5 won. And I'm the Persona fan. I should be happy. No, it doesn't deserve it. But yeah, it was that. So shall we hit our other news then?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember how Rockstar are being pieces of shit about the people they fired?
Uh-huh.
Well, they're continuing to be pieces of shit about the people they fired. Because I am not going to mince words on this one. So, apparently, Rockstar is claiming that the 34 people that they fired from the British Rockstar studio were, let's see, get the quote here, distributing and discussing confidential information in a public forum. Doesn't that sound like the most bullshittery claim in existence? People Makes Games have done a video where they actually talk to the people that were fired and are protesting currently, and also got invited to the Discord that this all spiraled out from. The Discord is only Rockstar employees and British government officials to organize the union. That is all that people were in the Discord. And apparently, the whole reason they got fired is that there was discussion of company policy involving a thing called Slack that I have never heard of before. Apparently, it's like a intercompany app that you can use to talk about stuff on.
Yeah.
I have never heard of this before. But apparently Rockstar were cutting back on what you could talk about in the company's Slack, and people weren't happy about that. That was it. So, once more, Rockstar being jackasses over the people they fired. For no good reason. Any thoughts? All right, then. Next up. Apparently, Bungie have solved their issues with the Scottish artist Fern Hook, who was the one that Bungie went and stole their art and stuff for use in Marathon and didn't give credit for at all. So they have said that the issue has been resolved to their satisfaction. So Marathon can get out the door eventually and probably die. And probably take Bungie with them. Look, there's a reason I want us to try to do Final Shape. Because the clock is ticking, folks. I can feel it. I think we are past the point of no return with Bungie, especially with Destiny. They've been given one too many chances with Destiny, it feels like, and I think they have burned every bit of goodwill from most people at this point. And I just don't think there's enough people around anymore to keep the game up and running.
It almost makes you wonder if they are doing it on purpose to try to get someone to give them the money to greenlight like a third Destiny or something.
would that even work? Or would they not fuck it up again like the last 2 times?
I mean, they would. But the first time they released a big enough patch to redeem it, to then screw it up the second time, you then have a big enough patch to redeem it, to then screw it up again. So we're on the redeem phase. So 3 should work right now.
I doubt that. I don't think they are going to get a third chance on this. Because again, as you pointed out, they released Destiny 1. It was a broken, incomplete mess with 2 small, not noteworthy expansions to try to tide people over until the big major expansion that turned the game around, and then they piddled around until they released the second one, which was, again, an incomplete mess of a game.
It was more complete than the
around.
first one. I will say that.
Yes,
the problem with it is they still had the same flaws that were still there from the first one.
Because they didn't learn. And so they released 2 expansions that piddled around until they got to the major one a year later that turned the game around, and they've been piddling around ever since, up and down, draining
Mostly
people's goodwill.
Mostly down.
Yeah, mostly down. Until we are here now, where they have even lower, I think, concurrent player numbers than when they were basically 5 weeks away from shutting the game down.
Yep.
Literally, their words, their exact words at a GEC conference, we were 5 weeks away from killing the game. Because we could not keep it up. Because there was not enough support. There is no way in hell Destiny 2 is not on its death's door at this point, and we just don't know it yet. The clock is ticking. And I refuse to believe that Destiny 3 is going to save this, because they will have not learned their lessons with Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, because guess what? Nobody's learned their lessons when trying to make a live service game like fucking Destiny to start with. No one. So how can Bungie learn the lesson when no one else can?
Because it's Bungie. They made Halo. Except for not this Bungie. This Bungie's different than the Bungie that made Halo.
Who is even left at Bungie to have touched Halo at this point?
I'm sure there's some intern somewhere that is now not an intern anymore because people have jumped ship and left.
Yeah. Like, if your suggestion to me is to save Bungie is Destiny 3, I go, that will kill them instantly. They will die instantly. Because at Destiny, they're going to show Destiny 3, and everyone's going to go, what makes this different from the last 2 times you did this? And every single Bungie person is going to sweat because they're going to go, as the same fucking story happens again of a rushed development because they restarted everything at a certain point because nobody was happy, and they just mangled the game together in 6 months and shoved it out the door and said, fix it later. What part of this shit keeps happening with live service does no one understand? This is the cycle. You either survive your first year as a live service or you die within a year. There is no in between. Guess what? It is time Bungie bought the bullet on this one. They will die if they do Destiny 3. You know what they should do? Anything but a live service game. Anything but something multiplayer focused. Do anything but fucking Destiny 3.
But they're doing Marathon.
But that's still
Marathon.
that is still a live service game. Do anything but a live service game. Anything.
It's not even a marathon game. Let's be real.
Yeah, it is their take on Tarkov, basically. They have got to do something else, anything else that is not a live service, so that people will give a shit about them and go, oh, maybe they can make a good video game now. They need to pivot. And there's no way they can. Because guess what the other downside of making a live service is? You're now trapped on the treadmill. You're stuck there forever. You can't escape it until it dies. Which is me saying Destiny needs to die for Bungie to live. That is probably an insane thing that will make people hate me. But I feel like that's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, if they keep trying to make it, if they try to make it into Destiny, they're going to die. If they keep trying to pit along Destiny 2, they're going to die. They have to kill it and move on. They have made their conclusion. They have ended the story. They have to let it go. Because it will kill them if they don't. And that sucks, and that's terrible to say, but I feel like it's the truth. Anywho, any thoughts?
Huh? All
right. Next up, speaking of the Sonic movie that didn't get nominated, they're making another Sonic movie instead of another show for Paramount Plus.
I mean, because Knuckles turned out so well.
Yep. They're calling it they said they're calling it an event movie in some press release about this. A Sonic Universe feature. I think most people are basically landing on the idea that this is a shadow movie, basically.
Probably not a full-length movie.
Probably
like
not.
An hour special kind of concept.
Mm-hmm. Basically, here's your Sonic movie with Sonic and maybe Rouge and maybe Omega, since we'll skip over Gamma. Maybe, I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. I'm just tossing ideas out there because we have an Amy that's might be time traveling from the future in the next Sonic movie. So she basically gets to be Silver because we're sure as hell aren't going to adapt Silver.
They might.
They might. They might, but I'm just like,
They might adapt Silver, and that might be the best adaptation of Silver ever.
I mean, they can only go up, to be honest.
That's why I said what I said. Didn't regret what I said at all.
Like, any take on Shadow is going to be better than how he was introduced. Granted, I'm all for pulling Blaze in, but I don't know if we're ready for basically AU Sonic, more or less. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right, so you know how Netflix is, I say going to, but I guess it's now trying to buy Warner Brothers?
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot to the Netflix acquisition of Warner Brothers. Some of it gets into the political territory because I don't know. I forgot who's trying to do the hostile bid on Warner Brothers to try to get it away from Netflix, but that's in the conversation. But on the gaming end of things, you want to know how Warner Brothers games is looked upon in this deal?
Like nothing.
Basically, they are this little thing tacked on at the end of the spreadsheet, basically, of like, oh, we get a game studio, hooray. I also love how people are like, oh, this might mean we get the Nemesis system free from the patent. And then I go, no, I'm pretty sure the patent would just go to the new owners of Warner Brothers. I don't think the clock resets on it. At least I would assume not, but just because this deal goes through within the next 2 years, probably, doesn't mean that patent's free and now anyone can use basically the Nemesis system. I guess any other thoughts?
Huh?
All right. I will note, I am leaving in our notes link to the live stream to one of the folks I follow that covers the Netflix WB acquisition really well. The stream they did last week. For folks who are curious about the wider situation when it comes to Netflix buying Warner Brothers and all that. Since on the gaming, the things it's, well, somebody's going to own Warner Brothers and continue to not give a shit about their video games. And probably will lay off a bunch of people, especially from the game division. Because Warner Bros. Games is not doing well.
I mean, has it ever, really?
I feel like at one point, when the Mortal Kombats were hitting pretty well, and then they had the Mordor games doing well, yes, but that has been like a gen ago. So, yeah.
But at that point, you also have to ask, was it really that they were good, or was it that was just keeping their head above the water?
Yeah.
Because that's two different things there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I fully expect whoever ends up with Warner Brothers, there's going to be a whole... Basically, Warner Brothers Games is going to get dismantled into pieces, and whatever it has is going to get farmed out to whoever to make stuff for it, if whoever gets it cares. Basically. Like, I feel like Warner Bros. Games is going to get basically just ripped apart for money. Because that's where the first cuts are going to be. Because if they are not important in terms of the acquisition, guess what that means? They're expendable. And we got to make money back on this acquisition. So, get the cutting, get to dismantling. All right, that's it for our news, folks. So releases. It's not an interesting list, unfortunately. We do kick off some stuff on the 15th with Dice Keep for board and card. Let's see, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splinter Fate for Switch 2. And the Rogue Prince of Persia for Switch and Switch 2. That's the other Metroidvania Prince of Persia game that has nothing to do with the other one that they did. The one that people liked. I don't know how people feel about this Rogue one. We will skip down to the 18th with Call of Warfare FPS modern shooter for Switch. Is this some knockoff crappy Call of Duty game?
Probably.
1 second. I must know. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, this looks so fucking asset flip. But it's only $13. Also, look at this title screen. Or look at this box art, basically. You could not get more generic if you tried.
I mean, you could, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Scrolling on down to you can leave replay for Series X, PlayStation 5 and Switch 2. Yay. On the 19th, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora from the Ashes for Series X and PlayStation 5. I assume that's a tie into the new Avatar movie. We've also got Layers of Fear, the Final Masterpiece Edition for Switch 2. SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide, search for SpongeBob SquarePants DLC for Switch 2. On the 22nd, Factorio Switch 2 Edition, along with Factorio Space Age for Switch 2. And Buddy Beatdown on the 23rd for the MetaQuest. That's all, folks. Look, we're in the dredges, folks. I'm afraid we're not getting really anything until next year.
Pretty much.
So, yeah. Any other thoughts? All right, then Thursday, I'm continuing CAD. We might be getting the Gotcha Kimmy done tomorrow or Thursday. Because I just have the head left. I just need to try to get that modeled up. I do want to hit the lower legs again and the arms again a little bit. That might end up being the fourth stream is just some cleanup stuff on it. Because I did test the Path of Radiance randomizer, and it is up and running, and it scares me. Let's just say I'm just gonna hit the randomize everything button, and we're just gonna see what happens.
Oh no.
But don't worry, that's a ways out, so it'll be fine. But past that, on the on the 19th, we're doing Slay the Spire modded co-op as we try some other characters and see how they work.
Probably die.
Yes. On the 20th, we're gonna try to remember how to speedrun Ratchet and Clank.
I realized today that may or may not have been a bad idea.
You know what? I'm just gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna go in cold and just see what happens. We're just gonna see how much I remember.
Because you had that far better than I did, and no, I am not about to try that.
I'm just gonna go in cold and see how far I can get.
If this was Odyssey, I would completely be like, yes, I will completely go in blind and just we'll see what happens. But no. I am not confident in my abilities that much.
I also love how you said I got that better when I'm pretty sure I struggled more on the tricks than you.
Only because I actually had to put in a lot more effort into trying to remember how to set them up.
Fair. But yeah, that'll be Saturday, and then next Sunday, it's Gaim V Cinema time as we wrap up Gaim content, basically, because we're just going to throw both V Cinemas together because they're like an hour long a piece. I thought they were hour longs for each subsequent person involved, but no, it's 1 hour for both pairs. So it's like, this is a lot shorter than I remember it being. Oh well. But in 2 weeks, we will do TGS again and try to have some news. If not, we'll do something else. It's basically the last TGS of the year, so. Also note, I run through of Radiant Dawn's going out on the YouTube at the moment, but then after that, it will actually be the 2020 TGSs. So I believe that's next on the list. So if you're looking for more gaming news, you can listen to us talk about the 2020 gaming news. But anything else? All right, then. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Exclamation point YouTube and chat. We'll get to YouTube archive for this and all of our other streams. Exclamation point social and chat gives the handles for our social media. And exclamation point Discord and chat gives us a link. Drop by, say hi. We'll see you Thursday, folks.